mean by that is it's going to be, we'll have to let the trend set and then see, which way things flow, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can see like you're creeping up a little bit in the futures market. So like since 6 a.m., you've already come up like a point and a half, which is actually quite a lot. Hopefully, like in the next half hour, we could just chill out. We don't want the gap to be like too big coming into the open. If it gets like into the 220s, it's just gonna suck all the range out of it because you got your 90 EMA at 221, and that'll be a little bit of resistance right there. See, really, we don't want this thing to get any higher than this. Overall, we've got this gap to fill here at 222, so we'll see how that kind of reacts. I think that's gonna be. That's gonna be, that's gonna be the level. That's gonna be the magnet. If we can start to fill there, we'll have a little bit more fun. Zucker, what's going on? How you doing? Cool. All right, well, let's take a look at some individual names and then we're going to get into the rest of it. So I think, first of all, like all these kind of virus names, these are all probably topped out at this point unless there's some fresh news out. So like really what we want to do is like watch like any kind of intraday pops on this thing. I think that these things now, we'll be shorting this on any type of strength. You can already see the topping formations coming in this. Same thing with this APT. This thing was $3 at 8. Watch for this thing. It's already fading off pre-market, but like if this thing gets jammed up into, Eduardo, how are you, by the way? If this thing gets jammed up into the 750, 775 range, then that's where, I think that's where we can potentially short this thing. So watch this thing. If it just squeezes up right at the open, watch and see how it reacts around 775, 8-ish. If it does, we'll kind of get a double top on this one. And you know what? Like if things get crazy, we may even be able to flip along on this. But gut feeling is I think that they've topped out. INO is going to be the easiest to borrow when you're day trading, right? The borrows are everything. Meaning, if you don't have it's going to be hard on Lake or NNVC to find borrows because the floats are really low. INO, the float is 72 million, so you're going to be able to get the borrows. So if you need a short, this is probably going to be the easiest one. Yeah, so watch this too. You can't chase this thing down $1 into the hole. So what you need to do is let this thing squeeze. Like watch for these kind of levels around here between 550 to like 6, and then look for like short-term rollover patterns, okay? So you wait for the jam into resistance, and then you wait for a short-term rollover pattern, and you're good to go. All right, good to go. So I think these are going to be, top of the list. In terms of gappers, there's this XLRN that looks okay today. I don't think this thing looks that hot. It's already faded off $22 in the pre-market. I don't like these type of biotech stocks when they're this price. When they gap up a double, they get a monster spread on them. And if the liquidity is not there, like they're really tricky traders. So I keep this on the list. There'll be like a $5, $10 shred on this somewhere, one way or another. But it is not going to be an easy one. So if you are ice cold and you're trading right now, right? If you just you just not been like hoofing it right, this is going to be a tricky trader for you because when you get this kind of volatility and you get a spread, it really seduces you into making like some crazy mistakes with your trading. So you got to be just kind of careful with that. It looks all right, but I think there are easier plays out there. Now, if you're just out there shredding it all day, then this type of play, you're seeing the action, you're feeling the action, this type of play will work really well. But if you're ice cold, stay away. If you're ice cold, stay away. If you overtrade, stay away too, for the simple reason that this one can like suck you in a little bit. Does that make sense? Cool. Let's talk about the regular watch list because there's almost no good gappers. Like these are all junk. Like see, there's not enough volume on these things. Junk. These are all just kind of dead. By the way, Dalton, some of these these battery stocks, these are going to be dead cat bounces. If you need like an easy short, I think those are could be something for you. Junk, Neos, junk. Junk, 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 junk. Yeah, look at all this Caravaggio. All right. All right, so let's talk about this. You know, the one interesting one I see here, this ENPH is kind of gapping up a little bit today. Man, it was getting smoked out yesterday. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one actually go green to red. You know, watch for this one. Like, if it starts to, man, if it starts to kind of fail around here and you start to see the rollover, it may get pulled. So definitely keep that one on the watch list. Ernie, what's up, baby? I do think mRNA is like, this is like a nice solid chart. You had 10 million shares in volume yesterday, so you had a little bit of a volume pop. You got a slight gap up on this. I think this one you can keep on your watch list. It's been a little bit of a tricky trader, but yesterday it was actually moving nice. Like you can see here, you got the gap up, pull back to the 9, and then a go. Guys, you know, for those of you guys that like trade ORBs and stuff, you know, the first pullback buy is infinitely a lot easier. You know, where like you get the pop at the open, and then you just pull back to the moving averages, right? And then, you know, you get a green candle to hold. That ends up being like a lot better. It's a lot easier entry where you don't have to chase it. The issue is just like, can you wait for it? You know, most people are a little bit weird about that. What the fuck? What just happened? All right, cool. Hold on here 1 second. There we go. There we are. Dun, dun. So, and I would keep that on the watch list. There's nothing too crazy on this one. So let's talk about our regular stocks. I think that this space is something you got to put on your watch list. So space had a pull back to the 9, and it had a remount here. That one looks actually pretty good. We definitely want to keep that on the list. SDC is another one. You know, if this thing can kind of break and hold over 14, I think this one starts to shred. This one starts to shred really nice too. Team has had 2 sideways days here. So you had a rest day. This is called an inside day. When you get an inside day, so this was its earnings day, it ran right into resistance. If you look here, this is a weekly chart. It ran right into resistance. Yesterday, you had an inside day. That's actually fairly bullish. Like, see how it just held the bottom of the gap? That's actually fairly bullish. If this thing starts to hold today, like this thing could be on the attack and bust over 150 relatively quickly. By the way, guys, bootcamp class is starting tonight, okay? Bootcamp class is starting tonight, so make sure, right, you hit the registration links. We got a lot of stuff to talk about as it's a new year, but the markets are shifting, and we need to always stay on top of it. So former bootcamp members, you still got to keep coming into class. Trading is a lifetime endeavor. Most of you guys, you know, come into class, you know, 3-4 sessions anyways. People like Sal are always there. But class starts tonight, 8 p.m. Make sure, I got the links all in the channels everywhere. We're going to be shredded today. And the first class is always, of course, important because it sets the tone for what we want to do. So team is nice. Man, this gush, I think this gush is ready, man. It just needs a little bit of a reversal signal, right? It just needs a reversal. So you got 1 down day, 2 down day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, you got 8 days in a row this thing is down. It's gone from $40. Does nobody drive anymore? Is that what's going on? I don't know. This thing looks like a rubber band long. Now, rubber band longs are notoriously, hey Zucker, look forward to it, by the way. Rubber band longs are notoriously tricky to time. Why? Because it's a counter trend trade. Counter trend trading is the hardest type of trading to do, but when you nail it, it can also give you the best reward. Meaning, like, if you see here the 9 EMA on Gush is at $26. Like, if this thing actually started to bounce, you know, we have $5-6 of potential upside before you even get into like one piece of resistance, which is pretty sick. All right, which is pretty sick. Yeah, so you can go and gush. You could use ERX. Like these are all, they all move together, right? Yeah, see this? This one is gonna be, you know, a rubber band. This is gonna be a rubber band long two off support here. This thing's how HAWT. HAWT. Yeah, you know, Denny, how are you, by the way? USO, it just moves slower, that's all. Like, yeah, it's due for a bounce, but it just moves a little slower. Yeah, this can move a little bit slower. So USO, if you wanted to just play straight oil, you know, you can do USO or UWT. Man, see that thing? Look at that thing. See, you have big support there too. Yeah. Big supports, baby. Nobody drives anymore, it seems like. These are all on support. They're due for a bounce. It's a matter of waiting for the signal for them to bounce. When they squeeze, they'll rip like 10% a day for like 2 days, and then they'll probably fade off. Longer term, this is all, you know, just longer term, these are all going to be in downtrend. TVIX is curling up a little bit. Guys, TVIX started, you know, at 38 here, at 53. Man, if this thing could get to 56, it'd be really nice. You know, we'd get a nice short on this thing. When the market is volatile, you want to keep TVIX on your watch list for a specific reason. If the market starts to fade, so right now we got a gap up in the market, right? We're up about 1.5 points. If the market starts to fade, you can long TVIX to fade the market. This is going to be something you need to keep on your watch list for the next few days as the market is in flux and this coronavirus is going, you know, running around, or the rumors of it are running around. You know, so watch this like kind of 51. If it can hold 50 at the open, you very well may see this thing curl up. Remember, it was into the closes at 54. You may see this thing curl up and get a nice little spike into 53, 54. At some point, though, into a big spike, I'm going to short this thing because its volatility in general just goes down. Meaning, if you look at the long-term charts of volatility, especially TVIX, all right, it's down, 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 down. Then they split it, like reverse split it, like once every 6 months or so. In general, if this thing spikes, you're good to go. Yeah. So I'll see if anything around 53, 54, we look for the short. But if the market gets nasty, we'll flip this thing and go long. It usually ends up being a kind of a good one. LK. You know, they caught an upgrade. So LK caught an upgrade from Morgan Stanley yesterday, and they ruined the play for us. So if you look here, the close on LK was nasty. Like it was at 39. We were long in this thing at the open, right? And then it was at 39, and then look at this nasty close. Yeah. So you got 36.50, and then the Morgan Stanley came in after hours, and they gave it an upgrade. Upgrades are the worst, because when you get like a trending, when you get like something that's trending down, they'll come in and do the upgrade, and it kind of ruins the rubber band play. You know, ideally, if they didn't have the upgrade, we would come into the 50 SMA, and man, we would have had like a $5, $6 bounce probably in the next couple days. We would have been able to really shred a good gain. This gap takes it a little bit out of the question. So what I want to do is when you get a crashy kind of pullback, you can't chase it up at the open. So what you got to do is let it pull back. Watch that first dip to support. So what you're looking for is this kind of dip to support. So let it pop up. You're getting the gap at the open. Let it pop up, and then it drizzle back into your 9 EMA or 20 EMA. You start to hold. You get a green candle to hold, then you buy, set your stop under, and now you're ready to shred this thing back the other way. That was actually really nice range yesterday. You should keep this on your watch list for another day. Damn, that was nice. So that's what I want to see with LK. I need that nice, easy shred. I just need a little bit of a pullback because the gap is going to be fairly big. You know what? Hog is on the gapper list, but man, Hog just trades like crap. Like I put Hog on my gapper list like every earnings for years and never seen it have like a nice easy play. Never. But I would watch it like I just know because I'm old and crotchety that it's not something for me. It's just not something for me. It don't move that well. I need a little bit more range. All right. BYND. This was a hot one yesterday. If you look at the daily chart of BYND, by the way, what do you see here? So you get this push, and then now you're starting to consolidate here over the 9 EMA. Right? You're also starting to build like a little bit of range up here. If this stock busts loose and can actually hold this, I would say 130, you're going to see this thing at 150 relatively quickly. You're going to see that's your next level of resistance. In the meantime, it's a great trader. Look at the range on this thing. So ATR, average true range of the last 14 days, is 11. Man, 11 is a monster range, right? 11.77. So it is moving on average $11.77 back and forth in a day, the average size of its candles. That's pretty cool because whether you have a large account or a small account, man, if you can even just trade 50 shares or 100 shares or something like this, you can really, really shred. Yeah, we got to keep this on watch list. So if you see here what's happening, you're starting to curl on a pre-market, you're opening up pretty well. Now it's a little bit down from the previous day, as we had a fade into the close, but now we're starting to creep back. I'd watch this one for a red to green today. You're only, you're going to open down like 30, 50 cents. If this thing goes red to green at the open, like we may be able to shred this thing right at the open. Yes. I notice one thing always about BYND too. If you look at BYND at the open, when it goes, see this, like you'll have a $5, $6 candle, like really in the first few minutes. It has that ability to go and give you like that really sharp candles at the open if you see the setup. Now, never on this type of stock, number one, do you chase it? And number one, do you just buy it like blindly on the first candle? You got to let it really set up. Like there was an easy setup, as it was kind of busting over the pre-market highs yesterday. That's why I shredded at the open. Today, ideally, if we can just shred down a little bit, then we'll be able to go red to green on this. This is frankly, if you think about like the market, this is probably the best looking chart in the market right now. You've got the most momentum. You got the highest ATR. You also got, right, this is up about 50, 60% from 50, 60%. That's going to be good stuff. Yeah, Alex, the one thing with LK is just you got to just wait for the setup. If you were going to hit it, man, I wanted that 35 really bad. Now the gap up is going to kind of ruin it a little bit. The other thing is, you always got to remember in terms of trading is, whether something's off 25%, 50%, 100%, it doesn't really matter, right? We need the setup. We need that hot setup to go. But it's definitely on watch. I'm going to see if it can pull back here and hold. I won't chase this thing up though. Good. Yes, bootcamp class starts tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Today's class will be how to set up charts. So what we'll do is we'll whip out TC2000, whatever charting platforms. We'll start going over what all the indicators are, how to set up the charts, how to add in everything, and how to use the software, everything like that. But the main thing is we'll go into the guts of what technical analysis is today, meaning like, okay, what are charts? What are candles? What are volumes? What's a 9 EMA, 20 EMA? Why do we use these things? What's stochastic? So on and so forth. So we'll build from scratch, using just a blank. We'll build out a blank chart, right? We'll start taking out all this. We'll take everything out and just build out a nice kind of chart for you guys so you guys can start to see like how this stuff interacts. And then from there, we'll just keep going, you know. So first day is really important just for the simple reason that, you know, it's the foundation for everything, because we're going to be talking about really, right, what a chart is and how to add everything and get to use everything. Like, what the heck is this that we use for? Why do we use Bollinger Bands? How are Bollinger Bands useful? You know, so those are kind of important things. Cool. So I got it, Alex. It's on my list too, top of the list, baby. I shredded this thing at the open, man. I almost bottom ticked this thing to the penny. You know, woof. But then, you know, you got to always sell it to the spikes, baby. That's what we do. All right. Cool. GSX is another good one for today. It's gapping up a little bit here, but its highs at 36.16. You got a big reversal yesterday. So first of all, you got a gap down, and then it went red to green, and then this thing was off to the races. Off to the races. You know, so you definitely can go in and, man, you definitely can go in and shred this thing. It's gonna be sick. Yeah. Yes. So you got the high was about 34.90. So that's the area we need to watch. If we can break and build over that, I think we're gonna have something fun. We can break and build over that, we're gonna have something fun. Cool, man. I think that's it. We're going to have a short, easy list. Watch that. Watch those oils, too, for the squeeze. We short these vaccine stocks, and we long Chinese stocks, all right? And if we need to flip everything around, we play TVIX. ¿Comprendes? Good. Yeah, here, I'll send it to you right now. Sweet. Anybody got any tickers they want me to go over? Well, you got me for a few minutes. Oh, let me see. Shop, MNTA. Yes, Mr. Craig, how are you, sir? You know what? This is a nice looking, chart right here, too. No volume on this, though. 930,000. It's a beautiful chart. This is, to me, like when I see a chart like this, that's more of like a swing trade type of chart where, you know, like I can't get the liquidity I need on this, but I would definitely keep that on watch. You know, I don't know why I wonder why this didn't show up on mine. Oh, you definitely, you know what? I would definitely roll with MKC. Good. Hey, Vipo, what's up, baby? How are you? Man, Roku is in just range. That's the problem with Roku. When you're stuck in range, like you don't have anything. You don't have the wind at your back. And if you don't have the wind at your back, like it's hard. One day it's going to look like a short. One day it's going to look like a long. And it's just all over the place. I have Roku on my ban list right now. I got Roku on my ban list. No joke. Yo, the CIT stuck in range too, right? So you have a bank. It's a bank stock, so it's not going to move that fast regardless. Now you're stuck inside this longer term range. When you think about breakouts, like you want trends. You know, you want something that's breaking out the highs or breaking down the lows. Otherwise, you know, it just doesn't work that right. Ulta looks okay. The problem with Ulta is that it's a retail stock. Retail stocks are notoriously finicky. You know, it did have this nice rip, though, you know, 30, 40 bucks lately. HCA. Yeah, HCA looks okay too. You could probably add that to the list. You know, yeah. Yeah, it looks alright. Yo, these pot stocks are really tough right now. The charts are broken essentially, so I got to pass on the pots, meaning no thanks. Potter, how are you? SQ looks good. I would keep SQ on the list. It's starting to trend here. Definitely looks good. Yo, MKC for me, Ashok, Ryan. The issue is that it's gapping down right into this support level. It's not going to necessarily, man, it may not break down there. You know what I mean? If you short it and it's above the 200 SMA, it might squeeze on you. And this 3M is going to be a thick stock, thick little noodle. Which is kind of cool, but it's not. It's going to be a thick one. I do see the setup here, like as long as you clear under these MAs. Look, for a $175 stock, it's only got a $2 ATR. Think about that. It only moves $2 per day. It's a $175 stock. A $175 stock should be moving around like $5, $10, $15 a day. You know what I mean? Cool. All right, peoples. Let's focus up. Get your 6 window layouts, everything that you need going. Focus list for today. SPICE, SDC, BYND, LK, TVIX, and then, of course, we shred, we'll shred short all these little, vaccine plays. But only on spikes. The fact is, when they open down this much, 21%, 19%, 17%, so on, 9%, they're going to have the SSR on it. So when you have the SSR on it, you can't even short it on the bid, so it's going to be more tricky, so you got to let them spike up. Remember, anytime you trade an SSR stock and you short it into the hole, it can be very tricky. So let's go do what we do. Let's get the music on. Let's get the chat room flowing. Let's get the ideas flowing. Guys, yesterday was a hot morning, but then we got bored in the middle of the day and we all took off, which is fine when we make money, but let's see if we can keep the action going for a good chunk of the day. As always, let's get the musica going. Guys, any requests? Haha. And remember, bootcamp class tonight. Bootcamp class tonight starts at 8 p.m. We'll be going over chart patterns, technical analysis, how to set up all your indicators, what it all means, so on and so forth. Let's go do what we do, which is the do. And as always, if you were enjoying these YouTubes, give me a thumbs up. I'll see everybody in class in the It's not in the mañanas, but in the noche. Cool.